Hi everybody, it's Lisa here, and it's time for another Verbling class. It's 10 p.m. Pacific time zone. I'm in Washington State, and I'm ready to get the class started. It's going to be a reading class. It's going to be at an intermediate to advanced level. It's about science and what they call flocking behavior. So I took the article from Wired magazine, and we will see how it goes. Hi, Maria Jose. Hi, people. Welcome. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, good.
I hear you.
I wasn't hearing anything. Oh, good. Hi there. Welcome, everybody. Come on in. If you see the green Join Class button, you can click on it now in order to come into the Google Hangout. If you come into the Google Hangout, then you will be able to read along with us, which is good practice for pronunciation and also fluency and just the flow of the language. I'm giving you the link. I copied the article and then put it into a Google document so that we can read it together, and I can also put it on the screen share so people who are watching this now or watching it later as a recording will be able to follow along with us. I think we might be full already. I just want to welcome everybody and say that I'm happy to have you here. I see some familiar names and some faces, so it's always fun to have you guys again in the class. Okay, looks like we have people are opening the document already. So I'll just begin with some introductions, and then we will get started reading. I will go first. My name is Lisa, and I live in Washington State in the United States, and that's in the upper left-hand corner of the map if you're looking at the United States, just below Canada. And that's about all for now. Ángela, how are you?
Yes. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. Haven't had you in class for a while.
Yeah, I really miss you and miss your classes.
Yeah. How are you been? How have you been?
I'm glad to see you.
Ángela, your microphone is getting a little bit, it was great when you first started talking, but then it went away. I don't know what happened. Is it working now? I don't know. So I will come back, see if you can get your microphone to work. Darina, are you there?
Yes.
Hi there, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine. I'm from Ukraine.
Okay, great, wonderful. Have you done Verbling classes before?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know what's the problem with my internet. Anyway,
it seems okay now.
Okay. Forgot what I was talking about.
Well, I was just asking you how you have been since I haven't spoken to you in a while.
Yeah, I really got busy with my work, and
yes.
I wasn't able. I felt like that now my English is so rusty because I haven't been able to join many classes as before.
Yeah, you're working again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, busy. I understand. But your English sounds good, so no worries.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, and we talked to Darina, and now Francisco. How are you?
Hello, I am so good. This is Francisco from Mexico City. I really like your class.
Okay, great. I'm glad to have you. Mahmoud, are you there? The 25th January Egyptian Revolution. Mahmoud, are you there? I don't know. Okay, Maria Jose, how are you?
Hi Lisa, I'm doing really well, and how are you?
I'm doing very well also.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that.
And how many verbling classes have you done today?
Today, 3, no more.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
And
I'm from
you're
Colombia. Okay, tell me.
yeah, and you're still awake.
Yay! I am a zombie, a night zombie.
Lendit's trying to get something started over there in the chat. He called you lazy.
No, he's lazy, but
He's
I'm not.
lazy. Yeah, where is he?
Yes.
Yeah, where is he, huh? Okay.
Yes,
Lendit, you have a chance to join. You better click the button. Hi, mentor. How are you doing?
Hello, hi. I'm glad to hear you. I'm
Good.
from Kosovo. It's my first time that I'm joining your class, really. But I saw you from outside your class and I really liked it. I enjoyed that.
Great. Well, wonderful. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Glad to have you. And
Yeah.
Mohammed. Mohammed, are you there? Lendit.
Hello?
Yeah? Hi there. I can hear you.
Hi.
Why don't you introduce yourself to everybody?
Hello? Anyone here
I
hear
talk
me?
Lendit place.
Yeah, he's going to work. It's working. Go ahead, Mohammed.
Fine. How are you?
Good. Mohammed, where are you from?
I am from Sudan, but I am working in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Okay. This is two time to class in my class. Nice to meet you. Different country, different language.
Yes.
I hope to continue here. Of course, I want to learn English.
Okay, great. Well, you're in the right place. We're going to be doing a lot of English reading and speaking tonight. So we're going to get started just a minute here. I'm going to finish up with the introductions. Reem, are you there?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm very good. I'm Reem from Saudi Arabia.
Okay, wonderful. There's three
It's my
people
first
from
class.
yeah, 3 people from Saudi Arabia so far in Saudi Arabia.
Howdy.
And Roman, are you there?
Hi Lisa, hi everyone. This is my second time here and I'm very happy.
Great, well, welcome. Tell us what country you're from.
I'm from Kazakhstan, Almaty city.
Okay, wonderful. And Yosef's in the house.
Yes, I'm the house. You know, I was fighting with Lendit about the place. But
Oh,
I
yeah.
have better connection.
You
I
beat
pay
him.
my bills.
Yeah, you beat him out.
I pay my bills for the internet. I'm not stealing from the neighbors. So, like Ahla do, you know.
Yeah. All right, you pay top dollar for your internet service, so it's fast and reliable. Yes.
Yeah, I'll pay more, you know, just to be in your classes.
All right, you pay a premium. I got it. Okay, well, that's fun. All right, so I'm going to put on the screen share the piece that I chose for tonight. Like I said, it comes from Wired magazine, which is a pretty popular magazine in the United States. That's about technology and science and new things, new innovations, things that are happening. You can go online and read it. Lots of their articles, just like nowadays for most magazines, they have a lot of articles up. So this one was under their science category, biology actually, and it's talking about the behavior of humans like other animals to what we call flock. So it says, you may have been born to flock. That's the title. And for some new people, I just want to explain how I'm going to do the reading class. So the way I do the reading class is I have the article here and everybody can see it. And I will read one paragraph first, and when I read, I highlight it like that. so everybody knows which one I'm on. And then what I do is I ask a person in the class to read again the same one. The reason why I'm reading it first is to give everybody the chance to hear me speaking English, saying these words in the way that I say them, which is from a native speaker's accent. And then I will ask each student to read a paragraph, and it's pretty long, so everybody will probably read at least, hopefully twice. And then after we have read the whole article, we will go back. I underlined and bolded some of these things that I thought would be either important to understanding the article or maybe new vocabulary words that we could discuss if we have time. The main thing is to understand what we call the gist of the article. That means like the main points. So that's the first thing you want to try to do, is just understand what it's basically about. And then if you want to go back, as we say, with a fine-tooth comb, you can go back and pick out the words you don't really understand, and we can go over those. So I will start reading, and then I will start over here on my left this time. Akhila will be the first person to read after that, and then I'll just go down the line, and we'll just take turns. And if anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. You can also ask the questions in writing in the VerbLink chat if you want. Sometimes when I'm reading, I don't have time to look at the VerbLink chat, so other students might also be able to answer a question if somebody wants to know what a word means or something. So yeah, that's how it works. And we will get started. So, like I said, the title is You May Have Been Born to Flock. And this was written just a few days ago. So the first part is talking about the Super Bowl, and that has already happened. So we had a class on that before, so some people learned about American football and Super Bowl, but this was written before that, so just a couple days ago. Okay, here I go. More than 70,000 people will flood into the Superdome in New Orleans this weekend, while thousands more swarm through the city's French Quarter. From a certain perspective, might those Super Bowl fans resemble, say, a herd of wildebeest or school of fish, or maybe a murmuration of starlings? Okay, Akhila.
Okay. After all, collective behaviors are found across...
Akhila, read the first one over again. I'm going to read it and then have you read it again. Yeah, just so everybody can hear it.
Okay.
Even the... yeah, go ahead.
More than 70,000 people will flood in the Superdome in New Orleans this weekend, while thousands more swarm through the city French Quarter. From a certain perspective, might those Super Bowl fans resemble, say, a herd of wild beasts, or a school of fish, or maybe a murmuration of starlings?
This one, it's actually, they say it wildebeest. It's like wild beast, but it's wildebeest. It's a certain type of animal, like in Africa. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. After all, collective behaviors are found across the animal kingdom, and regardless of our penchant for Shakespeare and beer helmets, humans are animals too. Some scientists think the essential components of flocking behavior, an instinctive tendency to join with others and follow their lead, remains alive inside us. Okay. Darina, you want to read?
Yes, okay. After all, collective behaviors are found across the animal kingdom, and regardless of our penchant for Shakespeare and beer helmets, humans are animals too. Some scientists think the essential components of flocking behavior, an instinctive tendency to join with others and follow their lead, remain alive inside us.
Good. Where does this pool come from? Said psychologist Marguerite Boos of Germany's University of Göttingen. This must be a very basic way of perceiving other people's behavior. Okay, Francisco?
Okay. Where does pool come from? Said physiology
Psychologist.
psychologist
Mm-hmm.
Margaret Bose of Germany's University of Göttingen.
Göttingen.
No, Göttingen.
Mm-hmm.
This must be a very basic way of perceiving other people's behavior.
Mm-hmm. Good. In Spontaneous Flocking in Human Groups, a paper published in the January issue of Behavioral Sciences, Boos and colleagues describe an attempt to isolate underlying flocking mechanisms hinted at by the large-scale behaviors sometimes seen in crowds. Okay, Maria Jose?
Yep. In Spontaneous Flocking in Human Groups, a paper published in the January issue of Behavioral Sciences, Boos and colleagues describes an attempt to isolate underlying flocking mechanisms heightened at by the large-scale behaviors sometimes seen in crowds.
Mm-hmm. This one right here, just isolate with the long I sound.
Okay.
Isolate. Uh-huh.
Okay. Yes.
Her team designed an experiment in which test subjects were allowed to move within a virtual space, but with the identities of other people completely hidden. Other people were literally seen as black dots. Okay, mentor?
Yes, you hear me?
Uh-huh, I do.
Her team designed an experiment in which test subjects were allowed to move within a virtual space, but with the identities of other people completely hidden. Other people were literally seen as black dots.
Good. Okay.
It is literally
Yes.
or literally?
Literally.
Can you
I'll
pronounce
say
it?
yes. So it says other people were literally.
Because as I know this word from some native speakers, maybe British or I don't know, USA,
Yeah.
they pronounce it literally.
Yes, sometimes you can hear it where they kind of cut off the ER sound and just like sounds more like the LITR. They cut out the E, so it sounds like literally, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
sometimes.
Am I pronouncing correct now? Literally.
Yeah, that's fine. I would understand
Okay.
that. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Yes, certainly there are differences in the way people say things, and so some words have 2 or 3 different ways that you could say it, and people will understand if you say it any of those ways. So it's okay. Despite the impossibility of exchanging information or social cues, people in the experiment drifted towards each other in predictable, mathematically regular ways. These are hints, said Boos, of the fundamental forces of spatial attraction that exist between people. Okay, Mohammed, did you get your microphone to work? Yes? Mohammed? Okay, Reem.
Okay. Despite the impossibility of exchanging information or social cues, people in the experiment drifted towards each other in predictable, mathematically regular ways. These are hints, said Boos, of the fundamental forces of spatial attraction that exist between people.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good. Though Boos's computer-aided setup may seem simplistic, it gets at the underlying principles of grouping, said biologist Ian Cousin of Princeton University, who specializes in collective animal behaviors. Okay, Joseph?
Okay, all right. Okay, the process computer I did set up may seem simplistic. It gets at the underlying principles of grouping. Said bio, bio, God,
Biologist?
biologist and
Mm-hmm.
cousin of Princeton University who specialize in collective animals behaviors.
Good.
Teacher, can you pronounce again word specialize? How
Mm-hmm.
is correct?
Yes, who specializes in collective
Specialize.
animal. Yeah, specializes.
Okay.
And I have a question on despite or despite it, in the first paragraph.
Oh, in the first paragraph? Where?
Is it despite or despite it?
Despite?
Yeah.
Yeah, despite. But I don't see it. Where is it?
I don't know, it's there.
Oh, okay, right there.
The first one, yeah.
Despite. Okay. Yeah. Despite. Yep. Okay. We see collective behavior in many aspects of human society, said Cousin. If you observe a crowd from above, you see that pedestrians spontaneously form lanes, following the slipstream of others. There are lots of patterns that arise from local interactions that we're not aware of. Okay, Akhila?
Okay. We see.
Whoops. I don't know what's happening with your microphone. When you start out, I hear you fine, and then it like cuts out. Because I cannot hear you now. I don't know what to tell you because I do not hear you. Does anybody hear her?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't me. Okay, Darina, would you read that paragraph, please? And then we'll see if we can get Akhila back with us.
Okay. We see collective behavior in many aspects of human society. Yes? Said Cousin.
Mm-hmm.
If you observe a crowd from above, you see that pedestrians spontaneously form lanes, following the slipstream of others. There are a lot of partners that arise from local interactions that we're not aware of.
Aware of. Good.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yes.
Society or society?
Society.
Society. Okay.
Yeah. Human society. Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Society.
Yep. Some benefits of flocking might be straightforward. An individual sardine, for example, is less likely to catch a predator's attention while swimming in a school than on its own. Other benefits are likely more subtle, involving how groups process information. Okay, Francisco?
Okay. Some benefits of flocking might be straightforward. An individual sardine, for example, is less likely to catch a predictor attention while swimming in a school than on its own. Other benefits are likely more subtly involving how
Subtle.
subtle
Yeah, the B, you don't pronounce the B. It's just subtle. Yeah.
involving how groups process information.
Okay. Maria Jose. Landed's getting hungry, wants some sardines. Yes, that's good. Cousins' experiments, for example, suggest a flocking tendency in humans that produces groups in which navigational decisions are instinctively, efficiently made despite conflicting information available to individual members of the groups. Okay, Hector, how are you? Do you want to read? Hector, you came into the class. Your microphone might be muted. Okay, Lendit, you're in. You're on. Cousins.
Okay. Cousins experiments, for example, suggest a flocking tendency in humans that produces groups in which navigational decisions are instinctively, efficiently made despite conflicting information available to individual members of the groups.
Good. Similarly, research by comparative biologist Jens Krauss at the University of Leeds suggests that navigational decision-making is especially enhanced in large groups, the members of which are highly uncertain about where to go. Okay, Maria Jose?
Yes. Similarly, research by comparative biologist Jens Krauss at the University of Leeds suggests that navigational decision-making is especially enhanced in large groups, the members of which are highly uncertain about where to go.
Yeah, enhanced.
Yeah.
Okay. In these settings, group dynamics may be a living, moving embodiment of the so-called many wrongs principle, in which a correct answer is likely to emerge from the average of many wrong answers that cancel each other out. Okay, Mentor?
Yeah. In these settings, group dynamics may be a living, moving embodiment of the so-called many wrongs principle, in which a correct answer is likely to emerge from the average of many wrong answers that cancel each other out.
Okay. Good. A new study by Cousin, published January 31st in Science, describes another type of dynamic. In schools of golden shiner minnows, information obtained by one individual, in this case, whether to avoid a patch of bright water, passed quickly through the group. Okay, Reem.
Okay, a new study by Cousin, published January 31 in Science, describes another type of dynamic. In a school of golden shiner minnows, information obtained by one individual, in this case, whether to avoid a patch of bright water, passed quickly through the group.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
On their own, individual...
Which one?
Yes?
I want to ask. January 31 or January 31st?
I would say January 31st.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. On their own, Yes. On their own, individual shiners were confused, and small groups fared little better, but large groups navigated beautifully, avoiding light and pursuing shadow. In a crucial distinction, group navigation didn't involve an averaging out of wrong answers, but a collectively processed sensation. Okay, Joseph?
Okay, on their own, individual shiners were confused, and small group fared little better, but large group navigated beautifully, avoiding light and pursuing shadow. In a crucial distinction, group navigation didn't involve an average going out of wrong answer, but collectively processed sensation.
Sensation. Yep.
Sensation.
maybe the way we've been thinking about this is wrong. Instead of adding together these imperfect estimates, something else must be going on, said Cousin. And I'm going to have this one too. As for whether human groups might function in the same way, it's hard to say. Even though we flock, a term here used interchangeably with schooling, swarming, and other group behaviors, it's likely that each flocking species has evolved specific strategies tailored to its circumstances. Given that humans aren't social in the same way as golden shiners, not to mention honeybees or starlings, we almost certainly don't possess the same type of flocking, but we do possess something. Okay, Achille, you want to read all that?
Okay.
Since you missed your last turn.
Okay. Maybe the way we've been thinking about this wrong, instead of adding together these imperfect estimates, sometime or something else must be going on, said Cousin. As for the whether human groups might function in the same way, it's hard to say. Even though we folk as a term here used interchangeably with the schooling, swimming, and outer group behaviors, it's likely that each flocking species has involved specific strategies tailored to its circumstances. Given that humans aren't social in the same way as golden shiners, not to mention honeybees or starlings, we almost certainly don't possess the same type of flocking, but we do possess something. Oh yeah, it's built in, said disturbed intelligence specialist Tony White of Carleton University. There is an evolutionary advantages with respect to moving in directions that others want to move in.
Okay, good. And Booth speculated that humanity's evolutionary origins in small group living primates would have encouraged flocking behaviors, making it easier to find food or avoid danger. It's also possible to imagine that our flocking roots run even deeper. After all, humanity's primate history is a relatively recent chapter in the evolutionary saga. Okay, Darina?
Okay. Both speculated that humanity's evolutionary origin in small group living primates would have encouraged flocking behaviors, making it easier to find food or avoid danger. It's also possible to imagine that out-flocking's roots run even deeper. After all, humanity's primate history is a relatively recent chapter in the evolutionary saga.
Good. The ancestors of all us Super Bowl fans weren't just apes, they were fish too. Maybe we could trace our flocking back to fish and their swarming behavior, speculated Booz. Maybe these are older rules. Okay, Francisco?
Okay, the ancestors. What is the correct?
Which one?
The ancestors.
Yes, the ancestors.
The ancestor of all Super Bowl fans weren't just a pets; they were fish too. Maybe could trace our flocking back to fish and their swarming behavior. Speculate Boost. Maybe these are all older rules.
We think of ourselves as being incredibly complicated creatures, said Cousin, but when you're in a crowd, your interactions tend to be much simpler than you think. Okay, Lendit?
Okay. We think of ourselves as being incredibly complicated creatures, said Cousin, but when you are in a crowd, your interactions tend to be much simpler than you think.
Okay, good. Okay, so now let's go back to the beginning and let's see what people understood about this. So, Maria Jose, what did you understand from this article? What were some of the things?
Okay, well, the article is quite long, but the main idea is like the humans' behavior is like is I don't know. It seems like animals' behavior when they are in groups, in specific groups, like when you are in a school, when you are in a crowded place, like in a football play or something like that.
Right.
So there are some patterns in the behavior that always are the same, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Reem, what did you understand about the article? Any points you want to mention?
We as a human being do live in a flock, the families. We all have family. We all belong to a family, to our flock.
Okay. And Joseph, how about you? What did you understand from the article, or any points that you want to tell us that you remember from the article?
Well, I have to say that I'm lost.
Okay, good to be honest.
That's so long, you know. Yeah. It's so long. I just start asking from the beginning. You know?
Okay, good. Well, I think Maria Jose, she had, like, I've done this before in the reading. A reading can be very long. It can be 5 pages or something. Take us 20 minutes to read it or whatever. But in reality, a lot of times it just wants to tell us a few things, and then the rest is just the details, like giving us more information. But the main points, I would say, would include basically the idea that, like Maria Jose said, that if human beings, trying to figure out, are human beings like other animals that we study and we see that they have this flocking behavior or swarming behavior, whereas when they're in a group, they are acting as one. That's basically what it means. So if you ever see like a flock of birds flying in the air, a lot of times they will move, and it looks like they're all moving at the very same time. And so people, scientists, try to study that type of behavior in animals, and now these people are also studying that type of behavior in humans. So one thing that I want to explain is the word flock. So a lot of times you could hear that as a flock of sheep, and that's what Lendit's referring to, like in the Verbling chat, is a lot of, they talk about if you follow like sheep, if you follow the flock, you might die because maybe you just followed along without questioning what was going on, and it wasn't good what was happening. So a flock can be a flock of sheep. It means a group of sheep, but the verb to flock means basically to follow. So it means to follow in a group. And basically what the article is saying is that they have ideas that, yes, humans tend to, in groups of people, do similar things. And some of the ones that we can go through here are pretty interesting in terms of how people walk down the street together and how that happens, and so how we act, what we call collectively. So doing that. So let's go through this and see, because it sounds like some people would like to be able to understand some more of this. Bolivar, I wanted to welcome you to the class. I see that you joined in. Are you there? It's hard to see your weight there, but if your microphone might be turned off or muted. So if you want to introduce yourself, then you can go ahead and speak. And Yassine is coming in. Are you there?
Okay, can you hear me?
I don't know. Sometimes they've been having a little bit of trouble with the Verbling and the Google Hangout interface. So I'm not sure if that's happening for you guys with the microphones right now. But anyways, let's go through this. So what does it mean to flood into? All these people are going to flood into the Superdome. What would be another way to say that, flood into?
To move together in large groups in one direction.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, so if you can imagine it, all those people that were in the Superdome watching the Super Bowl on Sunday, it's like you're watching a big group of, people. They're people, obviously, but when you look at them from afar, it just looks like this group of dots or little, moving things, and they're all moving all at once, and that's called flooding into, so it's all just going in at once. So that's one of those phrasal verbs, flood into. Another one I thought is swarm. So what animals do we usually say swarm? Do you guys know about swarming bees? Have you ever seen a swarm of bees? Honeybees?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a huge amount of bees.
Yes, yes. So it says that thousands more were swarming through the city's French Quarter in New Orleans there. So that's another word that means basically we usually use it for bees, swarming bees, but it's all moving together is basically what it wants to say. And then in this last part of that paragraph, there's different names in English, probably in your languages as well, to describe groups of different animals. So there's a herd of wildebeest, so there could be like a herd of horses too, but it's a school of fish. So these are just words that mean group, but they're specific to different types of animals. One that's always interesting that people, even a lot of people don't even know it in English because it's not very widely used to name off different animals. We mostly know like herd of wildebeest, herd of sheep, herd of cows, school of fish. That's probably pretty common for people to know, but murmuration of starlings, nobody would know that. Murmuration is just another name of group for starlings, and starlings are birds. And another one that's always interesting is a murder of crows. So that just means a group of crows, but they call it a murder, which is, I don't know why, but it's always weird to hear
because
that
of
word.
the sound, maybe.
Yeah, the murder. It has another meaning as well, so it kind of makes you wonder why they use that word. All right, so after all, collective behaviors. So what would you describe as collective behaviors? Mentor, would you like to talk about collective behaviors? What do you understand by those two words together?
I mean, collective behaviors means like a group of behaviors.
It's weird. These Mentor and Yasin, your guys are like white, but I don't. So maybe I'm not sure if you're in the class or not. Okay, Maria Jose, how about you? Collective behaviors.
Lisa, do you hear me?
Like common behaviors in a group?
So collective means yes, the whole group. So as a collective, all together. So it's whatever they're doing, but all together. So they were found across the whole animal kingdom, and regardless of our penchant for Shakespeare. Anybody know what the word penchant means?
Lisa, do you hear me?
Lend it.
Like charm?
Tendency.
Yeah, like he's very charmful with the pen.
Nope. It means right here. You could say another word. You can say is regardless of our. It's like our habits, our preferences. Even though we like, if you have a penchant for something, it means you have a habit of doing it, or you have a strong desire to do it. So it's basically saying like even though we like Shakespeare and beer helmets, humans are animals too. So that's another way of saying it. So even though we like, so if you have a penchant for something, it means you just like it.
Teacher, do you hear me?
And then some scientists think the essential components, I don't know if you guys know components, the essential, so that means the important components are the things that are important to flocking behavior, which is, and they defined it right here, this is the definition of a flocking behavior, an instinctive tendency to join with others and follow their lead. Yeah. Okay, Lendit, do you think it's a bad idea for humans to follow other people's leads?
Maybe it depends on the situation.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's kind of interesting that this person is from Germany and is studying this type of behavior based on the history of World War II in Germany, where a lot of people did follow people.
Yeah, they were following Hitler.
Yeah.
Teacher,
Kind
do you
of,
hear me now? Teacher,
just
do you hear me now?
not even questioning some of it. So, so that's an interesting thing. That's probably one of the things I could imagine would motivate somebody to want to understand why large groups of people tend to do the same thing. Yeah. Okay, so where does this pull? So that's what she's talking about there, is that that desire to do things together. Why is this happening? And she says this must be a very basic way of perceiving other people's behavior. So it's like she thinks it must be something that we're understanding about how other people are behaving, and we just go along with them. So this is actually the name of the article or paper that was written and published in this magazine, Behavioral Sciences. What does the word spontaneous mean? Does anybody want to give a definition of that?
Natural.
Natural?
Not planned.
Yes, Reem.
Planned.
Yeah, if something is spontaneous, it means it just happens all of a
Not
sudden,
planning.
or it's not
Unplanning.
planned. So this spontaneous flocking in human groups would refer to something like the football game, the fans all moving together in one group. It's not necessarily planned, like they didn't call each other up and said, okay, everybody, let's meet here and walk this way and do this and that kind of thing. So it just happens as people come together, they start doing things more as a group rather than completely different things. So that's what they're saying anyways. So they describe an attempt. So that attempt means a try. They're trying to isolate underlying flocking mechanisms. That's a big mouthful. So what does it mean to isolate something?
To isolate
Just
mean
separate it.
Yep, to separate it. So just they're trying to understand what these different mechanisms are. That large-scale behaviors, these large-scale behaviors they see in crowds. So they designed an experiment, and they had test subjects. So that's what we call people who are in experiments. We call them test subjects. And they were allowed to move within a virtual space. So what does it mean by virtual space?
Unreal space or...
Yeah, so virtual usually means like you're using a computer-assisted program, and that what makes you think that you're there in some location, but you're really not. Like if you go to, for example, Disneyland, nowadays they have rides that are like virtual rides. So you're sitting in a chair maybe, and maybe the chair is moving all around, and then on a screen it feels like you're flying through space or something like that. So that would be a virtual.
Like simulation, right?
Yeah, like a simulation, exactly. So they didn't really put these people together, but they put them in a virtual space, and they couldn't see each other. The other people were actually there, but it looked like they were just these black dots. So literally just means they're like, it really looked like it. Literally, that's what they saw them as, was just black dots. So they didn't even know that the people were there. But even though that was hidden to them, and they couldn't, here it says they couldn't exchange information. So that means they couldn't talk to each other. They couldn't have any social cues. Like a social cue would be like a body language. Maybe you saw somebody lift their hand or do something. That would be a cue. But they couldn't see that. But even so, they drifted towards each other in predictable ways. So drifted towards, you probably understand that. They kind of moved towards each other. What does predictable mean?
Expected.
Yeah. So you could imagine that would happen. You would say, okay, I think that's going to happen. That's what you're predicting. So it's predictable. And mathematically regular ways. So that's really interesting too, that they would come up with some kind of mathematical calculation to determine that how these people would probably move. So that's why they're saying that there must be something going on when people get together. They all of a sudden start moving in some predictable ways. Okay, though most computer-aided setup may be seem simplistic, so they might be kind of simple and easy, not very complex, it gets at the underlying principles. Do you guys understand the word underlying?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's underneath, so it's like what's basic. So there's what you see on, in everyday life, and then you want to get to what's under that, so whatever's underlying, so the underlying principles of grouping and collective animal behaviors. So this was one that I actually had to look up. I kind of had an idea when I read it, but then I wanted to make sure I knew exactly what it means. But it says here, if you observe a crowd from above, so maybe you're looking at them from a tall building or from an airplane, you see that pedestrians, do you guys know what pedestrians are?
Yes.
Walkers, people who are walking. Okay, so the people who are walking spontaneously, so again, unplanned, just all of a sudden it happens, they form lanes. Lanes are like lines, following the slipstream of others. So the slipstream is actually the space, the air that comes after, as you're walking and you're pushing the air, the stream of air is called the slipstream. So some people who might know about cycling, you might know that sometimes it's cyclists who are racing try to get behind other cyclists, and they draft off of them, so it's easier to ride farther that way. So that's kind of what's happening, is these people who are walking down the street, they don't know each other and there's nothing planned about it, but it just from above you can see that they're actually walking in each other's, like right behind them, kind of in their, well, they call it a slipstream is what the technical term is, I guess. And that they see lots of patterns. So that's they find that pretty interesting. So some benefits, here we go to the benefits of flocking, might be straightforward. Do you guys understand straightforward? Yosef,
Go ahead.
you get it? Straightforward means just be simple. It's not complicated to understand it. It's just easy to understand. It's straightforward. There's no mysteries. An individual sardine, for example, is less likely to catch a predator's attention while swimming in a school than on its own. Other benefits, so basically it's easier to not be seen if somebody's going to try to attack you. If you're in the middle of a crowd, then they won't be able to see you, but if you're on your own, like a little fish, it's probably going to get eaten. Other benefits are likely more subtle. Subtle means not so noticeable, but they're still there, so you can barely understand them or see them, maybe. And that's about how groups process information, so how they take in information. So they said here, Cousins' experiments, for example, suggest a flocking tendency in humans that produces groups in which navigational decisions, so navigation is basically making decisions about directions and where you're going, like the birds flying, how they're navigating, are instinctively, so that means you're not thinking about them, they're coming from your instincts, just coming from your guts, we say. They're coming instinctively, efficiently made despite conflicting information available to individual members of the group. So even though some individual members might have some information that conflicts with other group members, the group kind of takes over and is making the decision based on everybody, not just on individual information from people. Okay? So a couple more words here, because we're going to be running out of time. Enhanced. Does everybody know what that means? Enhanced in large groups?
Improved.
Yes, great. Improved. And embodiment. Landon and Maria Jose, you guys were talking about that before. So that's one where when you embody something, it means you represent that. So the moving embodiment of the so-called many wrongs principle, which I had never heard of, but I found that was kind of interesting too, that they say that there's a principle that when you get a lot of wrong answers, one will come out. the average of many wrong answers that cancel each other out will emerge. So that means will come out the right answer. Okay? All right. So I'm not going to go through the rest of this so we can have a little bit more time to talk. Does anybody want me to say give the definitions for any of these other words or any other words that were not highlighted?
Fared, maybe.
Okay. Yes, so on their own, individual shiners were confused and small groups fared little better. So what it means to do. You know, so to succeed, to fare better means to do better, to do well. It's just another kind of a fancier word for to do. Talking about how you're doing. So they fared little better. So they didn't do any better, really. Okay? So they basically... So the long and the short of it is that they basically are saying that for some reason humanity's evolutionary origins, so we've been evolving from primates, which are like apes, that we probably wanted to have flocking behavior to avoid dangers and also to find food. So maybe just like other animals, we evolved with that type of behavior because that helped us to protect us and keep us safe. So maybe that's why. So what do you think, Akhila, are the benefits of flocking behavior?
To move straightward and to predict their actions. I mean, when a larger group of people, they are moving together in one way, you can tell or you can predict the way they are going to.
So, Akhil, I know that you're a teacher, so I'm wondering, do you ever experience this when you watch your kids, like when they're in a group, do they seem to do things like all together, or are there lots of individuals? Yeah.
No, they tend to work as groups most of the time inside the class, or on their break we can see them that they are moving and they are doing almost the same thing, even in a short time, not for a longer time, but they tend to do that, especially for kids.
Yes.
They tend to do the same.
Yeah, I think even adults probably tend to do that when you get together.
And, here as Muslims, we have this thing called Hajj, or the pilgrimage, where almost 3 million people, they are gathered in one place, and you can see them on the TV. They are doing the same thing at once. They are moving together at once. I mean, it's amazing for this huge amount of people to do that, but maybe this proves the study.
Right, yeah, because I was watching that I was watching that on a video a while back, and I think it was in one of those movies, I don't know, Argo or something like that, where the Muslims, is that the thing where what you just told me, is that where, well, they go to Mecca and then they go, yeah, that's incredible, all those people doing the same thing at one time, and it seems to be like it works out okay.
Yeah,
you
and
know,
it's so organized, and it's really amazing.
Yeah. Reem, have you any thoughts about this idea of people coming together and then working as a big group, as one?
I think it's good, especially for the one who is shy, or when he become with a group, it's help him to be more social.
Yeah. What about as far as humans go? I don't know if there's any problems with this type of behavior for animals, but like I mentioned before, like during World War II, I wonder if this could be a problem if a group of humans were doing something not so wonderful. You know, like here we say in the United States we have a saying that sometimes it can be hard to go against the crowd. I'm wondering if people have heard that before. Yeah, to be.
Let me give you an example with these
Yes. Okay.
revolutions that we have had in the Arab world.
Yes.
You can see a large number of people gathered at the same time, and all of a sudden, instead of having these revolutions in a peaceful way, they turned into fighting, and nobody could control that. I mean, all of a sudden they are all angry and they are all fighting together.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking that makes me think about that too. Like, so if something wonderful is happening, then maybe like that energy of everybody happening will be a wonderful thing. But if all of a sudden a certain amount of that group of people start doing something like that, then all of a sudden it looks like almost everybody's doing that, even though probably that person wasn't thinking they were going there to do that. You know?
Exactly. I have a question about that. We were debating. Yeah, we were debating in some other class about determinism and about this free will. So he's talking about flocking, which is unplanned, which you are doing. What is this word? Unplanned.
Yeah.
Sensually, right?
Socially?
No. Unplanned. Okay, so that means you are not thinking about doing this, but you are end up there because it's some kind of blocking.
Right.
So yeah, so can we connect that with the free will? Are you choosing what are you doing, or it is some?
Yeah, really.
It is some determinism thing. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, if you get together, I wonder if there's somebody studying that, like how many people does it take to make a group that actually begins to act collectively as one versus as individual people with free will? Is that what you're meaning? Like that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that would be really interesting to figure out, because I'm sure there's some kind of threshold where you reach that amount of people, and then all of a sudden, instead of individual people in a group, say like 5 or 6 people with their own free will and doing what they want, all of a sudden this group mentality takes over, and yes, you might end up doing something that you didn't think you would even do, and you didn't really make a conscious decision to do it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Maybe it's a contagious thing, or
yeah, contagious. Yeah.
Yeah, really. Maybe it's like that. Like when someone laughs, everybody laughs the same.
Yeah, maybe.
Once after understanding this article, I just realized that everything it is determinism. Like it's meant to be, and you don't have a choice to do. You're just following some clothes or following this is flaking.
Maybe, I don't know. That seems to be the question that people have been debating for many thousands of years.
Exactly right.
I don't know who has the answer.
Maybe you do, and the article does.
Yeah. Those are the mysteries of life. Yes. Okay, well, welcome. Thanks for sticking in there, you guys. This was definitely a bit of it's a scientific article, so if people find that interesting, then it can be interesting. Science always leads back to religion and spirituality and how we got here and why we're here, so it's always an interesting topic, I think.
Thank you so much, Lisa.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you, Lisa.
Oh, you too.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to bed now.
Okay.
Okay, bye, guys. Thanks.
Bye.
Linda, you have a chance to join. You better click the button. Hi, Mentor. How are you doing?
Hello, hi. I'm glad to hear you. I'm from Kosovo. It's my first time that I'm joining your class, really. But I saw you from outside your class, and I really like it. I enjoy that.
Great. Well, wonderful. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Glad to have you. And Mohammed. Mohammed, are you there? Lend it.
Hello?
Yeah? Hi there. I can hear you.
Hi.
Why don't you introduce yourself to everybody?
Hello. Anyone here
I
hear
talk
me?
landed place.
Yeah, he's going to work. It's working. Go ahead, Mohammed.
Fine. How are you?
Good. Mohammed, where are you from?
I am from Sudan, but I am working in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Okay. This is two time to class in my class. Nice to meet you. Different country, different language. I
Yes.
hope to continue here. Of course, I want to learn English.
Okay, great. Well, you're in the right place. We're going to be doing a lot of English reading and speaking tonight. So we're going to get started. Just a minute here. I'm going to finish up with the introductions. Reem, are you there?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm very good. I'm Reem from Saudi Arabia.
Okay, wonderful. There's three
It's my
people
first
from
class.
three people from Saudi Arabia. Hi, everybody. It's Lisa here, and it's time for another Verbling class. It's 10 p.m. Pacific time zone. I'm in Washington State, and I'm ready to get the class started. It's going to be a reading class. It's going to be at an intermediate to advanced level. It's about science and what they call flocking behavior. So I took the article from Wired magazine, and we will see how it goes. Hi, Maria Jose. Hi, people. Welcome. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, I can
Yes.
hear you.
Oh, good.
I hear you.
I wasn't hearing
Hi,
anything.
Lisa.
Oh, good. Hi there. Welcome, everybody. Come on in. If you see the green Join Class button, you can click on it now in order to come into the Google Hangout. If you come into the Google Hangout, then you will be able to read along with us, which is good practice for pronunciation and also fluency and just the flow of the language. I'm giving you the link. I copied the article and then put it into a Google document so that we can read it together, and I can also put it on the screen share so people who are watching this now or watching it later as a recording will be able to follow along with us. I think we might be full already. I just want to welcome everybody and say that I'm happy to have you here. I see some familiar names and some faces, so it's always fun to have you guys again in the class. Okay, looks like we have people are opening the document already. So I'll just begin with some introductions, and then we will get started reading. I will go first. My name is Lisa, and I live in Washington State in the United States. And that's in the upper left-hand corner of the map if you're looking at the United States, just below Canada. And that's about all for now. Achila, how are you?
Yes. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. Haven't had you in class for a while.
Yeah, I really miss you and miss your classes.
Yeah. How are you been? How have you been?
I'm glad to see you.
Achila, your microphone is getting a little bit, it was great when you first started talking, but then it went away. I don't know what happened. Is it working now? I don't know. So I will come back, see if you can get your microphone to work. Darina, are you there?
Yes.
Hi there, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine. I'm from Ukraine.
Okay, great, wonderful. Have you done Verbling classes before?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Great.
don't know the problem with my internet. Anyway,
it seems
what did
okay
I say
now.
last? Okay. forgot what I was talking about.
Well, I was just asking you how you have been since I haven't spoken to you in a while.
Yeah, I really got busy with my work, and
Yes.
I wasn't able. I felt like that now my English is so rusty because I haven't been able to join many classes as before.
Yeah, you're working again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, busy. I understand. But your English sounds good, so no worries.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, and we talked to Dorina, and now Francisco. How are you?
Hello, I am so good. This is Francisco from Mexico City. I really like your class.
Okay, great. I'm glad to have you. Mahmoud, are you there? The 25th January Egyptian Revolution. Mahmoud, are you there? I don't know. Okay, Maria Jose, how are you?
Hi Lisa, I'm doing really well, and how are you?
I'm doing very well also.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that.
And how many verbling classes have you done today?
Today, 3, no more.
Okay, that's good.
Yes,
Good.
yeah.
And
I'm from Colombia. Okay, tell me.
Yeah, and you're still awake.
Yay! I am a zombie, a night zombie.
Lendit's trying to get something started over there in the chat. He called you lazy.
No, he's lazy. But
He's lazy. Yeah, where is he? Yeah, where is he, huh? Okay.
Yes, he.
So far, in Saudi Arabia.
Howdy.
And Roman, are you there?
Hi Lisa, hi everyone. This is my second time here, and I'm very happy.
Great, well, welcome. Tell us what country you're from.
I'm from Kazakhstan, Almaty city.
Okay, wonderful. And Yosef's in the house.
Yes, I'm in the house. You know, I was fighting with Linda about the place. But I have to selection.
You
I
beat
pay
him.
my bills.
Yeah, you beat him out.
I pay my bills for the internet. I'm not stealing from the neighbors. So, like Ahla do, you know.
Yeah. All right, you pay top dollar for your internet service, so it's fast and reliable. Yes.
Yeah, I'll pay more, you know, just to be in your classes.
All right, you pay a premium. I got it. Okay, well, that's fun. All right, so I'm going to put on the screen share the piece that I chose for tonight. Like I said, it comes from Wired magazine, which is a pretty popular magazine in the United States. That's about technology and science and new things, new innovations, things that are happening. You can go online and read it. Lots of their articles, just like nowadays for most magazines, they have a lot of articles up. So this one was under their science category, biology actually, and it's talking about the behavior of humans like other animals to what we call flock.